Well, if you're having a problem landing in Flight Simulator and you wish you had something that was telling you if you were coming in too high or too low or too fast or too slow, you're in luck. Before we get to the relatively simple task of enabling landing assistance, I suggest that you take a look at the aircraft you want to fly with and understand its flight characteristics, specifically how fast it goes with and without flaps. To find that out, you might first go to Flight Simulator's configuration screen and go to the aircraft. And then here, you can go and look at some specifications. Now, weight and balance doesn't mean much, particularly. It's set for standard as far as pilot, all that kind of things. And you can add different advanced weights and measurements and all that stuff as you see fit. For the most part, though, we're going to ignore this because we're going to talk about other characteristics. Instead of weight and balances, we're going to go look elsewhere in Flight Simulator. We're actually going to go to the aircraft itself and take a look at the aircraft profile. And we do that by going to My Hangar, and the selected aircraft will be there. And if you go into here, you'll be able to look at some of the information that you need. If you sit there and say specifications, you'll see there's a description of the aircraft and the specifications. Flight speeds and flaps and those things are not listed here. But because Flight Simulator is a simulation, we can go search on the internet of the real aircraft because it's modeled after this. So let's take a look here. I just did a search real quick on this particular aircraft, and I can go to Wikipedia, for example, and get some of this information I need. If you scroll down in this particular page, it has all the different models. And down here it has more specs. But again, landing speeds are not one of them. So if not Wikipedia, where to go? Well, how about the manufacturer's page? We look here and we're on the page, and it has some general stuff here as far as the aircraft. But even if you go to their specification page, the specification details for this particular aircraft, you're not going to see necessarily the information you need here. And that's understandable because the variation of weight and all that stuff makes a big difference. But I did some more searching, and I happened to find this teaching site that does flashcards. Now, you'll need a subscription to see it, but it got me through a couple of things, including what I was looking for. Amongst them was the speed limits above certain altitude, okay? And just click on it, and it'll tell you of 0.77 Mach. And we see here a VMO between 8,000 and 27,000 feet. We get an indicated airspeed of 305 kilometers. Continuing to the next card, we find out what is below 8,000 feet. And we get an idea of how fast we should be going at the low altitudes. Here's a great statistic that talks about the maximum flap extended speed for takeoff and approach is 200. So we know when we can deploy flaps. And the extended speeds as well. And that's 160 indicated airspeed. So let's go to the Flight Simulator's control panel under Options and do the deed. Go ahead and click on the Assistance screen and you'll see a list of assistants. Now right here, you'll see Navigation Aids. If you expand that, you'll see Landing Path. And you go ahead and click on the On, and it'll turn it on. And it tells you right here what it does for you. It'll warn you whether you're too high or too low by changing the color of the bars. And it'll also give you an airspeed, whether you're too fast or too slow. Now here's a video with flight assistance turned on, and as you can see, it provides brackets with a flight path to your airport that you're landing at. But not only does it give you the optimal path, but it gives you a visual indicator of if you're too high or too low by turning the brackets red to show you you're not within the proper flight path. Now I started this too high so I could show you that as I accelerated, it indicates also whether or not you're too fast or too slow. So once I get inside the center of this, I still could be on a proper flight path, but I'm just going too dang fast. So the brackets themselves are the indicator of whether or not I'm too high or too low. But once you get in between them and you get your speed slow enough to the proper speed, you'll see the red brackets turn into blue brackets, showing that you're actually at the optimal speed for your landing approach. Now that being said, I have no clue why this particular flight path takes me over these high mountains right when I'm trying to turn into the airport. But I also wanted to show that what happens when it goes too slow. It again turns red, you speed up, turns back blue. Now you may notice here that I have my flaps fully extended, and the reason for that is I wanted to be able to show you the airspeed at which we're flying, which goes back to that research you did earlier. You'll know that the proper airspeed for full flaps extended, and you'll be able to adjust your aircraft accordingly. So with the small incremental changes to your ailerons, and you can turn following that flight path and stay within the brackets so you can get lined up for your landing. Another clue you may want to take advantage of is that in the far distance you'll see where it's red again. Well, that simply means that for that particular portion you're going to have to slow down some more, because at that particular altitude and position you need to be going slower. Sure enough, it tells me I'm going too fast and I need to slow down further on in my approach. So here I am on final approach, getting ready to land, getting my speed down, and you'll notice that the guidance goes away. It gets out of your way when you're making your final approach. And all you do is then, all you do then is go ahead and line up your landing and land. And I won't bore you with the beautiful landing I did right here. So there you have it, how to set the option to get some landing assistance until you're more familiar with your aircraft. Hey, if you found this video helpful, don't forget to like this video. And if you want to get more, just subscribe to Old Guy Geek. You can also follow me at Facebook or Twitter. The links to those are in the description of this video.